England, and look at these. That can't be right.
We've got pork scratchings, we've got some crisps, and we've got some frazzles.
What flavour are crisps?
No hula hoop, Simon.
No, I need to...
Well, you see, as we like
A
to
lady
call
likes
them...
a hula hoop, doesn't she, girls?
What flavour hula hoop?
Oh, just
Make that sound rude.
because I've got a saucy voice, haven't I? Hula hoops. Joe and Lumley, move over.
So when you used to eat hula hoops, did you put them 5 fingers? Oh, obviously. You know what I mean? That's the only way to eat them. I think you never eat them out of a packet. But what we've done, and you probably may not be aware of this, David, being Scottish, is that when you do this, when you get 3 packets of different snacks from a pub, this is English tapas.
Yeah.
Right? So if you go to a bar and you get a packet of crisps and you hold it yourself and you offer one to Arabella and you offer one to me, that's standard crisp procedure.
Yeah.
If you go and you buy multi-packets of kind of snacks and you open them out like that, that's our equivalent to tapas.
I'm slightly worried. I'm just a little, there's an alarm bell going off, Simon. And the implication is that in Scotland we don't do that because we're in some way self-serving and a little bit mean. Are you leaning into a very outdated stereotype?
That there may be less sharing of the crisps.
Let me tell you.
I'm with him.
Let me tell you, in Scotland you've got nothing but flat open packets.
I've never seen that.
The crisps are everybody's.
Is that right?
Yeah. But we don't have these filthy pork scratchings.
Why do you not have pork scratchings north of the
David,
border?
you do now. You get pork scratchings in a Scottish pub now, you do not.
I do.
You've lived
No,
down
I mean,
south
they
far
don't-
too long, David
They
Tennant.
look like feces.
No, that is what there is. They're deep-fried feces.
Fried feces.
That's why
Oh, well, in
you get
that
them in
case, let me try
Scotland.
one.
You know that sponsorship deal you were hoping for with pork scratchings? I think that's gone from this very, very second, David Tennant.
Yes.
Right, so we asked you when we started for your favourite... You know what, they haven't even given me a drink. My own team have not even given me a drink. So we asked you for your favourite drink, and you've both gone gin and tonic.
I know, I'm posh.
We're super
Are
sophisticated,
we
that's
fancy?
why.
Have you always been a gin and tonic drinker?
No, I'm quite a new gin and tonic devotee. What about you, Ari?
I'm going to say that a gin and tonic used to be one of those things, I'm going serious here, that was quite kind of class associated.
Yeah.
And certainly a working class man would never have ordered gin and tonic in a
What
million
are
years.
you suggesting?
And now it's become much like you, David. It's become metrosexual. It's classless.
I've got a pint now, so I'm happy, because obviously I'm still in touch
Oh,
with
now
my
there's a
working
gent.
class
There's
roots.
a real bloke.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. Obviously it's craft lager. Obviously.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not drinking that kind of Commodore Garden kind of like brand, it's craft lager.
They had to open 3 tiny, well-crafted bottles to fill that pint glass. didn't they?
Exactly that.
Yeah.
So where do you stand then on the craft gin? Are you a little bit of celebrity wankers? The fact that
Oh, no, I am a celebrity wanker, and that's my wanky friend. No, I'll tell you what I am. I'm very bargain basement, ask my boyfriend. I would have any old gin, but I do go snobby on the tonic. I can't be going a value tonic.
So what do you go Fever Tree? I bet you're a Fever Tree girl.
In my house, we call it Millionaire's Tonic because it's in small tins.
Yes.
And it's so much more expensive, but it's got more fizz. So I'll go any old, not quite value gin, but supermarket gin, but top end tonic.
David?
I mean, what you want? Are you wanting brand names here?
I'm happy with brand names. It's a podcast.
Are we hoping for some-
This is your time to make up for it. You've lost the pork scratching kind of endorsement now.
Who can guess? Can you guess what his gin is? I know what it is.
I reckon Tanqueray.
Oh, well done!
Not just Tanqueray.
Oh.
Tanqueray 10.
Oh, yeah, she knew. Someone in the
yeah.
audience went, someone in the audience went, yeah, Tanqueray 10.
You see,
Tanqueray 10.
you see, even though we're in very, very posh Chiswick, it even lost half of the audience here. That's proper posh, isn't it?
It's disgusting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I also quite like a flavoured gin, though.
Okay.
I like a fruitily flavoured gin. A tart.
Rhubarb?
Puerto de Indias.
A rhubarb or a strawberry and rhubarb.
Oh no! That's like toilet freshener.
You eat crisps shaped like feces, don't you?
But just so you know, you are going on craft gin. So you've got Barry Island gin, which is beautiful, actually.
Is that from Wales?
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. Because it is that thing, wherever you go now, it's a bit like the craft beer thing, that wherever you go, you sort of expect to go into a pub in Ipswich, and you'll find East Anglian gin, because it has been that big thing.
Oh no, this does look
I
posh.
think it was a lockdown discovery for me, gin and tonic.
Yeah. But what brought you onto it? What did you drink before gin and tonic then?
Nothing. I mean, I'm not wildly sophisticated. A glass of red wine, maybe. The occasional bottle of beer.
Yeah. But the thing I discovered, right, behind the scenes before, is you both confessed to me that you're not massive fans of pubs.
Well, I know.
I mean, look at that.
Whoa.
Look at that. I mean, I know that in Chiswick, of course, everybody just sort of goes, well, obviously, yeah, it'd be a wine bar. Of course it would.
No,
you did this in Birkenhead. I'm telling you, there'd be riots now.
I'm probably the oldest person, not here, but here. Certainly not here. And so when we started going to pubs, can I say at 15, we thought we were unbelievably sophisticated getting in them. Everybody could smoke in a pub. And I was never a smoker, so you absolutely honked coming out of a pub, and you just thought, who would want to be in there? And they were blokes' domains, so you never, it was completely normal to have your breast talked about as you walked into a pub, and no one would go, hey, don't do that. So to me, pubs were sort of blokes' places filled with smoke, so what would I be doing in there?
So do you not think they've changed though? I mean, like,
Oh, they've definitely changed.
Yeah, but you still would sort of. Is it that early memory that's made you sort of go, do you know what? The history of it.
Do you know what it is? Because they still do this, particularly in your boutique pub. It's the sharing tables. I mean, no, thank you. Keep your. No, I don't want to hear about your marriage. You just want to be on your own table. I don't want to be paying all that money, same as a sort of restaurant, and then sharing your table with someone going, no, it's your round. I mean, no, you just don't want all that. It's too much communal.
Okay, I'll take those. Those are very, very valid points. David, what's your hatred
I
of
don't
pubs?
know. I hate them.
Listen, I'm trying to get something that will actually make the press.
I'm sitting
with David Tennant. David Tennant hates pubs. That's what I'm hearing, right?
No. I'm sort of neutral. And the thing is, I've got a lot of kids.
Yeah.
So I don't really leave the house. So if I do get to go out, it's unlikely that I'd go, well, I'll just sit in somebody else's space for a while. If I've got a night out, I'm going to try and do something a bit more, probably,
But when you were younger, were you never?
Yeah, when I was at drama school, we spent a lot of time in the pub.
Yeah.
You would go from the rehearsal room of the drama school to it was called Le Phonograph in Glasgow, just round the corner from the Royal Scottish Academy of Music and Drama, as it was. It's now called something else.
The
long gone.
Conservatoire.
No, but so's the pub.
Oh, okay.
The drama school's called something else.
The pub's
and so's the
definitely
pub.
not called the Conservatoire.
It's no longer called Le Phonograph. I don't know why it had a French name. There was nothing French about it. But that's when I probably spent. I've had my pub times for sure.
Is it an age thing, right? Because I mean, like I'm 61 now, right? And I sort of find that my drinking is definitely very, very different. I think now that I want to have an alcoholic drink if I'm eating. I'm rubbish at this now. You know what I mean? Just sitting, having a few drinks.
I've never been a pint person, I have to say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, did you ever go down the route of shots?
Only on very messy nights.
Yeah, only when I was a student and a young actress, there was a lot of lined up shots. But then you were only, so I don't know, I guess it's changed, and that's one of the nice things that you get older. When I was young, I only drank to get drunk. You had a drink because you were getting smashed, that was it. You'd go to the pub at 15 with a party 7, and you'd drink that with your mates on the way to the pub. Then you'd get boys, I'm afraid it was like that in those days, to buy you drinks. And then you'd get absolutely hammered and lie on a gutter and be glad you were alive the next day.
So one of the nice things about when you're in a pub is when your mates arrive that you don't expect them to. Right. So imagine, right, so we're out tonight, so the three of us are outside. Imagine, right, if one of your mates rolls up that you don't expect is going to be here.
Gosh, wouldn't that be exciting and unusual and unexpected?
Isn't it? So, we have something very exciting, unusual and unexpected who has just arrived to join David and Arabella here. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Mr. Gordon Brown!
Yes, I'll perch.
Wow. That shocked us a bit, hasn't it? Okay. Gordon, thank you so much.
You taking
for
the
joining
stool,
us.
Simon?
Yeah. You guys have the comfy seats.
Oh, look, I've got your notes.
I'm just, it won't make any sense to you at all, David. You were saying like David Tennant hates pubs.
He's trying to make a headline, Gordon.
So Gordon, welcome. So Have we given you a drink? Are we getting so you both done gin and tonic, and obviously Gordon, as a former Labour Prime Minister, then you will go for something that's very, very working class. You've gone for champagne. So what we've done, we've got some beautiful sparkling Chapel Down for you, which is beautiful English sparkling wine. Which, of course, that industry is absolutely flying. Gordon, Arabella, David, thank you so much, Gordon.
Cheers.
Thank you.
I'm going to maybe I'll get a crate of this. I would actually say that many of the English champagnes, Nye Timber, Chapel Down, they're better than a lot of French champagnes.
And in blind tastes, they all work them. So have you always been a champagne drinker?
No, beer mainly.
Yeah.
I used to go around the whole country speaking at meetings, and we used to have some of our meetings in pubs.
Microphone closer.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
And I went to this pub for a meeting one night, and it was the annual meeting of one of the Labour social clubs. And the speaker said, as he introduced me, he said, I know on these... One guy who said before I started to speak, do you want to speak now, or shall we let people enjoy themselves a little longer? That's what you must feel about listening to me. I remember when I was a student at Edinburgh University, and I was in this pub in Edinburgh, and it was where the great poets of the generation assembled. Hugh MacDiarmid was a famous Scottish poet, Robert Garrick, and all these people. And so I was meeting for the first time, perhaps the most famous Scottish poet of his generation. And I said to him, I was at Edinburgh University, and he said, that effing place. And I thought, this guy's supposed to be a famous poet. Anyway, some of my recollections of being in pubs.
And so nowadays, I mean, I think we've all established the fact that none of us are kind of getting any younger. Have you found that your drinking habits have changed?
Well, you know, I'm too old for British politics. I think I'm too young for American politics. But I don't. Your drinking changed.
Yeah.
I mean, beer I loved when I was young.
Yeah.
You know, in Scotland for a while there was prohibition, so lots of Scots managed to escape that by there being lots of social clubs rather than just pubs, sort of almost underground drinking. But I went to university at the age of 16, so by that time, even though the drinking age was 18, you could be in all the university bars and be able to drink. So beer was a favourite, but wine sometimes.
Well, I was asking, just before you came on, I was asking David and Arabella whether they ever went down the route of shots. And I don't go down the route of shots anymore because I'm too old, and neither do they. But you know what?
Shots.
It's not often.
Tiny little. Yeah.
It's not often I get the chance to have a shot with a former British Prime Minister.
Oh my God, we might know it. What is it?
Gordon, grab one of those. Arabella, grab one of those.
Well, I think we need to know what it is.
So this is a beautiful. It's called Nutty Moonshine, right? So it's a whiskey-based shot. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very exciting to have you all here tonight. So here's the moment you want to film this. Gordon Brown knocking a shot back with David Tennant and Arabella Weir. Cheers, everybody!
Wish I could share it.
Oh, it's delicious.
Ooh, isn't it?
Oh, it's a
Nice.
bit like chocolate.
It's like chocolate.
Yeah, it's chocolate.
Yeah, you want to get some of that. O'Donnell's Moonshine, it's called. Have a little taste of that.
Oh, it's very good.
Very good.
My goodness. I'll take the rest.
It's literally liquid chocolate.
Yeah.
And it's a very nice smell, actually. I don't drink spirits. No, I do.
So we've talked so far about kind of pubs and about kind of like the whole thing. What about food in pubs? David, like now, I mean, like, you know, you sort of said you got loads of kids, so when you go out, the food thing is massive. If you're going into a pub, what are you looking for?
I think I would go to a pub if I was after a nice traditional Sunday roast. Somehow the two feel inseparable, don't they? If they don't, it feels like
I
the
agree.
obvious. And there's one near our house where if we got to go more often, that's where we would go for a...
What's it called? Let's name check him, David.
What? I'll give you my postcode as well, shall I?
Telephone number.
Just put a photograph
I'll
of your
just
house
drop
on
it.
the internet.
Oh,
It'll be
yeah,
fine.
true. You see, I forget these are real celebrities. For me, no one would say, if I told you to put next door to my house, nobody would care.
But Tom, you've got no pubs in Scotland, so I can't nominate any. You've got to bring them to Scotland.
What are you looking for, food-wise, from a pub there?
Very, very traditional. I mean,
Yeah.
they used to say of me, if I was in an Indian restaurant, lambuna; if I was in a Chinese restaurant, duck or lemon chicken; if I was in an Italian restaurant, spaghetti; if it was an English restaurant, steak. And it was just very simple. I never bothered looking at the menu. So I'm pretty useless at food. Let's
Well,
be
please, easy, please. There's a lot of very nice kind of Sunday. Well, there's a lot of pubs in Scotland. I mean, the ones I know mainly are in Glasgow, serving delicious food. But
Yeah.
it's become very foodie.
Glasgow's
Glasgow.
gone crazy.
It's gone
Glasgow's
absolutely
now
mad
this
with food.
extraordinary sort of mecca for fine dining. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, Argyle Street, Sauchiehall Street, I mean, for those of you who don't know, they're the kind of formerly not nice parts of Glasgow. They've got amazing restaurants with food, but also the rents are so much cheaper. That's why the chefs, and they're not necessarily Scottish, just chefs are going there because they can...
Yeah.
But is Glasgow not a tough place for an actor if you appear in a play?
I think Glasgow did have a famous reputation as the place where comedians particularly would go to die.
That's right.
But I've always found them terribly friendly.
What they used to say, if they like you, they don't clap, they let you live.
One of the things that I've always been intrigued by, I was very fortunate. A while ago, a friend of mine was working for a politician, and I got to go into the House of Commons bar.
Did you bet as well, did you?
Yeah, and I couldn't believe that it was a bit like going to the restaurant at the end of the universe. I mean, is it the place where deals are done?
The restaurant is House of Commons.
I think the House of Commons had 23 different bars.
Right, okay. So I went to one where
No
places like me are allowed
crashes.
to go.
When I arrived there was no crashes,
Yeah.
no nursery, but 23 bars. So you can see what the priorities were. We used to vote at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you can see the bars were open all the time. So you couldn't say much about the judgment of the MPs by the time they got to vote.
But what? Because I sort of think, I sort of think in my life, probably all of our life, you'll meet someone to have a meeting in inverted commas where there's almost like an unwritten agenda. Is that what happens in Parliament?
Well, a lot of deals are done. Seems to be mainly betting deals at the moment. But someone said, when you see the state of the country, do you pray for your MPs? No, he said, when I see the state of the MPs, I pray for the country. And that's maybe what people feel.
Okay, so the next thing I want to talk to you all about is we have a snug, right, in the pub, little private snug, and what it is, you get to go into the snug for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour with somebody dead or alive that you think, I would love to be able to have some time on my own with that person and find out what made them tick, what makes them tick, or just to have a proper laugh. We've had people as varied as kind of like Frankie Boyle to Jurgen Klopp, you name it. David, who are you going for? Anybody alive or dead?
Obviously, David, you're going to say Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah.
That's a joke. David's all about football, right?
I'm not sure. I think I know who Jurgen Klopp is. For me, it would always be William Shakespeare because there's so much mystery around who he was, what he did, and the extraordinary genius that came out of this one individual. I'd quite like to sit down with him and figure out what made him tick.
Yeah.
Uncover some of the mysteries that still surround who that man may or may not have been.
Would you be intimidated, do you think? The thought of let's take you to that scenario, that William Shakespeare, we've got him in the back there, he's sitting there with a glass of mead, and...
Maybe.
Yeah.
Difficult impossible to know what he would be like, isn't it?
Yeah.
But also, you wouldn't be intimidated because presumably the deal is he's agreed to be in there with you, and that he's as interested
Through some
in the
miracle of
company.
time travel, we've negotiated the contract.
And you know all about that.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. Well, who knows? Because would he be intimidating? Would he be friendly? Would he be a monster's ego? Would he be? I mean, who knows? That's part of the reason I want to be there.
Yeah, and again, I think that's the thing. You know, every time we ask this question, it's about should you meet your heroes. So, Arabella, who are you going for?
I would go. I was going to rather pathetically say my children because I don't live with them anymore. But I would say Aretha Franklin. I would love to know. I would love to know if, when you have that kind of talent, when you're that young, if you ever know, you know, if she was obviously. No, she obviously knew she could sing, but whether you're is it coming out something so raw? Anyway, I'd like to spend 20 minutes with Aretha.
Yeah, but do you not think that? I mean, all three of you, at the end of the day, you're all incredibly successful and incredibly talented. So when you, so for example, when you first hit fame, but did you think you were anything other than Arabella, and just so happened that it's you?
No. I think we're both quite strong on this. We know lots of really talented people, not just actors, but loads of really talented people who, for whatever reason, and it isn't to do with lack of hard work, but for whatever reason, they never earn a living doing the thing they're best at.
Yeah.
And I think, so, I mean, I've been obviously less successful than David, but the point is you kind of know that luck has so much to do with it and opportunities, but you know, that's why, you know, we're all about accessing opportunities for everybody, because you just think it's a sort of, it's the luck of the draw, isn't it? It's the kind of, it's hard work, but you never feel.
I completely agree with that. I mean, I think, like, you know, I've been getting away with doing Sunday brunch for 17 years, for goodness sake.
And nobody knows who you are.
Exactly.
And you're still plugging away.
Exactly, with an incredibly
this awful sound.
Incredibly tiny amount of talent that can, like, we do 3 hours of live television a week. But do you think, though, do you also know people, not asking for names, well, you can have, but you won't tell us, do you also know people you think, you've got no talent, oh my God, how are you getting away with it?
We all know people with no talent who are, and some of them are here tonight.
Now, we used to say in politics there are two kinds of politicians. There are those who fail, and there are those who get out just in time. But you're asking, I always wanted to, I met Paul McCartney and I met Ringo Starr. I was in a room where George Harrison was. I never actually talked to him, but I never met John Lennon. And you grew up with the Beatles and you feel, you know, it's just
So he's going to be you, you're taking John into the snug.
I would be talking to him. And if it was football, and I know some of you love football, it would be Alec Ferguson, whom I know and who's been a friend of mine for years.
Yeah. So if you got to be in there with John Lennon, is there any pressing question that you think, you know what, I've always wondered this about him? Because I sort of feel the same, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I'm from Liverpool, so the Beatles were always sort of part of my upbringing. And you sort of think, because he was the first Beatle to die, unfortunately, there are lots of unanswered questions.
I'm old enough to remember Please Please Me, the first number one, and it just struck us like something from nowhere.
Yeah.
And it just created, the whole of the 60s was affected by it. And it changed everything, you know, made people feel that it was a young generation moving forward.
Yeah.
And, you know, everything seemed different. And you always wonder, why did the Beatles, so successful, why did they break up? Because
The thing is,
such a great
they were
group.
together for 9 years.
That's quite a long time in show business.
9 years.
Yeah, but at the top, they were at the top, really.
Yeah.
60,
But that's incredible.
62,
You think
63.
you go from, like, you know, Please Please Me to Sgt. Pepper's in 9 years. Like, yeah, you know, that is quite incredible.
To the last, what was the last one? What did you say?
White Album.
Yeah, they went from Please Please Me to Sgt. Pepper's, which wasn't the last album, but you sort of think that change in kind of
Abbey
like,
Road.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
you,
so
you grow up with it and you never forget it.
yeah. So the next thing we need to ask about is Jukebox. So we've been very lucky. I mean, Aretha Franklin's mentioned our Jukebox already. So you all have one tune that we're adding to our Jukebox for the Park Pub. Any tune, the one that when it goes on you go, oh my goodness, this is the song for my funeral, my wedding, to make me happy, make me sad. Arabella, what are you going for? You're clearly happy on this one.
I say a little prayer.
Oh, yeah, good one.
Yeah.
You can't beat that.
I think those first few notes of that song, it makes, no matter who you are,
It makes you cry.
it's proper hair stand up at the back here. That's a great choice. Gordon, what are you going to go for?
I'm trying to think. I mean, some of Shirley Bassey's songs I think are absolutely magnificent. I'd probably go for a Beatles one. Hey Jude, probably.
Hey
Great
Jude,
song.
oh nice.
Great song. This place, genuinely, every single guest that's been on, there hasn't been a song that someone has showed that you don't go, oh my goodness, what an amazing addition to the playlist. David, what are you going to go for?
Well, I'm a big Proclaimers fan. Yes, thank you. So I'd have them anywhere. And it's not necessarily my favourite song, but I would put on I'm Going to Be 500 Miles because no room can stay seated when that song comes on.
No, it is that thing. I remember I met the Proclaimers and they played that live in the studio for Sunday Brunch, and it was all the way to go, this is amazing.
Impossible to not jig through.
Yeah, and I think if you're feeling a bit down at any point in your life, you put that song on and you go, everything's all right. You know, it's a proper song of hope, isn't it? It really, really is brilliant. All right, Gordon. Obviously, tonight is a very, very special night. So we need to know more about why you started the charity, what inspired you to do it, and what you hope long term to achieve from it, rather than the short term that we're in now.
So I grew up in a mining and textile town, and when I grew up there was a lot of poverty, and I thought I would never see it again. I thought we'd passed all that, and now I see children going to school ill-clad and hungry. I see families having to choose between eating, and keeping clean, and I see mothers having to queue up at food banks, humiliated because after a week's work they can't make ends meet for their families. And that's why we decided that there are food banks which are doing a brilliant job. But the multibank is a food bank, a clothes bank, a bedding bank, a furnishings bank, a baby bank, all rolled into one. So we can help families in a holistic way. And we work through social workers, teachers, schools, health visitors, GPs, who will refer people to us. And we're working, I think John Winfrey's here, we're working with Amazon, about 90 companies that are helping us. And we've got them now in Scotland, Wales, Northwest, London, Midlands and Northeast to come. So they'll be in every area of the country. And we're giving out several million goods a year. And that's why we need help, because we need to buy some of these goods. Many of them are donated, and therefore we're helping people deal with pollution. So these are surplus goods that companies have. They might otherwise be landfilled or destroyed. So we get these goods and we get them to people who need them, repurpose them. So it's anti-pollution, it's anti-poverty, and I can tell you it's making a difference to large numbers of people's lives.
The curious thing about it is that we always assume that the big companies have no interest in it, but in reality the legislation and logistics behind it mean that it's actually been difficult for them to actually do anything to help. And a charity like yours suddenly goes, you know what, we can actually make this happen. We can make a difference, like you said, rather than kind of this just going to landfill. Let's make it happen. I'm involved in a very different way with a charity in inner city Liverpool, where a lot of the supermarkets donate food to a school that's actually 100 metres from Liverpool Stadium at Anfield. And we do live kind of cookouts for people. Yes, and it's an amazing charity. Yeah. And it's the whole thing. We should not have poverty in our country.
Well, I think we should thank Tom. He does brilliant work for charity.
Simon.
Simon's brilliant.
Just like Tom.
And David, thank you for nominating this as a charity.
It's just such a blissful idea. It's perfect, as you say. It works environmentally, it works socio-economically. It's just joining two things up that make sense. And I'm thrilled that, well, like, you can see the reaction that it gets. People just understand that this makes sense. And we, as a community, we all need to be looking out for each other.
I suppose
Arabella's been helping us as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, it's incredibly. I've met so many people, my friends, obviously, you know, I'm all right, but when I try and explain to my friends that there are people who literally don't have toothpaste, don't have toilet paper, don't have soap, and the shame that's attached to that, and they aren't sending their children to school, and they aren't applying for jobs because they have things that are unimaginable for most of us to not have. But when you're making a choice between feeding your children or washing their hair, and that's the choice you've got, you're obviously going, well, I'll feed them, because you can sort of get by with dirty hair, just an example. So it's an amazingly important charity, and it's having an impact.
And obviously,
that's the most important thing.
the long-term success of the charity is that it's no longer needed.
Yeah, we want, as food banks, want to do themselves out of existence.
Yes.
But you know, tonight, 1 million children around this country will try to sleep without a bed. They will not have a bed to sleep on. And that's why we've got to do something about it. And I think we are richer when we care for the poor. I think we're stronger when we care for the weak. I think we're more secure when we care for those who are insecure. And I think Britain is better than the kind of social security system we have at the moment. It's got to be better to get people out of poverty.
Gordon, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is really good. So there's one thing that we finish off all the time with Pod in the Pot, which is a game of darts, which seems a little bit kind of trivial after that amazing kind of speech. David, Arabella, you are going to compete in darts, so you have 6 darts each. Yes. So Philip Glenister has just gone to the top of the leaderboard. 6 darts, 132 points.
Who has Vernon?
And so Vernon is 95.
Oh no, Philip Glenister, there he is.
132. You have 6 darts.
Okay, where do I put this without...
I'll hold that. I'll keep score as we go. Come on, round of applause to David, come on. We believe in him. 1. 1. 15, 17. 2, 19.
Not very good.
19, it's not going well, David. And another one, 20. Come on, you can beat that. You can beat that. Come on. 20 for David Tennant. You have 6 starts. 4, 4, 8, nothing. 10, 18, nothing. 9, 27, 14, 37, 41. Arabella wins. Oh, Gordon's on it! Come on, Gordon. This is after he's had a glass of champagne and a shot. 10. 6, 16. Oh, 25. 41. 4, 45. 1, 46. 4, 4, 8, 46, 8, 46, 54! Ladies and gentlemen, it's a very, very special night at Pub in the Park. Always is good fun. Pub in the Park is always good fun. Thank you so much for joining me in my imaginary pub. But please, please, please put your hands together for my 3 magnificent guests tonight. Arabella, Gordon, and David! Thank you so much. Now, I have one more thing that I need to do. David, please don't go anywhere, because this young man on the front row here, this is Chris. So Chris is 10. Chris wanted for his 10th birthday tickets to go and see you in Macbeth. He went to see you, but now he would love to meet you and have a picture with you.
Look at your
Big hand for
Look
Chris.
at this. Come stand up here. Look at the t-shirt, gang. Really nice to meet you. You having a good time?
Yeah.
Really great to meet you. Give it up, everyone.